Turn this thing down just a tad. We'll still be able to hear it. Okay, with that, I would like to call to order this meeting of the town board of the town of Northeast New York. Today is February 8th, 2024, at 7 o'clock. And I'd like to ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, with that, Tilly, could you please conduct a roll call
Yes. Supervisor Cannon,
here?
Councilwoman Morrison. Here. Councilman Fidele,
Here.
Councilman Winkler. Here. Councilman Mayville.
Here. All right, thank you. I have distributed and posted a copy of the agenda for the meeting this evening. I have a couple of additions to the agenda. One is a revision to the employee manual regarding vacation days. And second is a resolution authorizing the town to move forward on our work on the new town hall, including architectural and engineering work for the electrical and HVAC systems. In addition to that, I would like to, at the end of the meeting, I'd like to have an executive session with council and with the assessor to discuss pending litigation involving the town. With those amendments, I'd like to ask for a resolution to approve the agenda.
So.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Couple of comments. First of all, the highway garage continues to move along. We are now within a couple of days, basically, of a legal and engineering date called substantial completion. But it does mean pretty much what it says, which means that it is substantially complete. All of the systems in the building are operational, the electrical, the plumbing, HVAC. We're going through with the engineers next week to do a punch list of items. And then we will, be having the general contractor address the punch list items, and when those are complete, they'll give Bob the keys. But it is coming along, at this point now, very well. And as I've mentioned before, we will be doing site work on the garage when the asphalt plants open up again. We can't do asphalt right now. Let's see. A couple of weeks ago, the Association of Towns had training sessions up in Albany. And Lana Morrison and Chris Mayville and I were all up there. We went through stuff that we've heard before sometimes, or not before in Chris's case, but it is useful to be reminded of all of the different ways in which town government is complex and all the rules and restrictions that govern us, which are endless. Anyway, I think it was very helpful. We came back from that with a lot of thoughts of things that we could be doing and should be doing that we may not have been doing. And one of the things that I'd like to ask the board is to see whether we could have a workshop session, because there's a lot of stuff that we have to, you know, for instance, there are various policies that we have that need to, you know, there's an investment policy regarding the town's funds, where they're kept and how they're kept and so on. And good housekeeping for that means that we should look at those policies and make sure that they're up to date and current and reflect the town. So I'm wondering whether we would be able to schedule a workshop session. If you look in the town handbook, there is no such thing actually under town law as a workshop session. It is a meeting of the town board. But it provides an opportunity for the town board to work without all the other reports that we do in our monthly meetings. And I'm looking at the last week in February as a possibility. I'm wondering whether the Thursday, the 20, I think that would be the 29th, leap day. So we could say that we had a meeting and it didn't happen. Anyway, would that be a day when we could, it's a Thursday, those are often clear on
I'm
our.
not in town.
Okay, are you?
I can zoom in before we come.
Well, we would, I don't wanna. I'm not sure I really wanna do that. That's pretty mean. We could, and I presume that's the case for that whole week,
The last week of February, I'm back
Yeah.
on Thursday in March.
right? Right, I wanna do it when our town clerk is here as well. So that's why I'm looking at that. So we may still try and go ahead with that. Because the week before we have more Association of Towns
You'll be away.
meetings. It's hard to do it, and we want to do it before we get into the warmer months when it really becomes more of a pain to do it. Would you be okay with it if, and we would give you the opportunity to zoom in if you so chose, but we would not expect to see you?
You have a list of policies which you're looking to review before?
We'll be developing in that and circulating it to the board well in advance of that meeting. We could. Yeah, the other thing we could do is we could wait until, you know, the latter part of March. I just, you know, a lot of the stuff is fresh and I wanna
Mhm.
get on it, but one of the things we could do is meet. You know, you and I could meet before that, go through what things that I'd like to look at and maybe get your input on things that you have in mind.
And then we'll have the New York City ones to add to that, for that
Right,
meeting, so
right.
great.
All right, well, let's tentatively hold the Thursday, the 29th for,
What time?
we could make it earlier. It's up to the board.
I'm available during the day, you guys are. Not, you're not at that day, okay,
But earlier, I could do it earlier in the evening.
yeah,
And we could do it at the end of the workday, and we could do it at 5
Okay.
o'clock, you do it at 6 o'clock, at, you know, whatever.
5 o'clock, good?
Yeah.
Meg?
That's
with
fine.
wine and cheese, yeah. No, yes. It's 5
Okay,
o'clock,
should we
yeah.
say 5 o'clock on the 29th?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Thank you. 29 p.m. Would that work for you, Tilly?
Mhm.
Okay, that'd be great. Let's see, I think you probably all saw the news from Sharon Hospital that the state of Connecticut has denied Sharon Hospital's request to terminate maternity services. That is something that I've gone I've advocated for the state to deny that application. And the town board has actually passed a resolution supporting Sharon Hospital and its maternity unit. So this is really good news. I think it's really great news for our younger families that are around here that were facing having to travel really long distances if they wanted to have children. And have them here in a hospital right near them. Also for pregnancy-related emergencies, it's really good to have this service here. So I think that's really great news. I went to a meeting on Tuesday night of the Dutchess County Supervisors and Mayors Association. And we had a very full turnout of supervisors and mayors from all over the county. And one of the things which we talked about at that meeting was EMS services. There are a lot of other towns that have a deep concern about EMS services and about their ability to provide those services or to pay for a private provider as we do here. As I think everybody knows, we are in a consortium with Dover and with Amenia in the village in a contract with NDP. That contract will expire this year. I was told by the supervisor of Dover that he is hearing that the prices for EMS services are doubling. He said he is hearing that for other towns, they're being asked for $800,000 for EMS services. It's really, it's already about 10% of our budget for our EMS services. So this is a crisis coming down the pike financially. And the good news is that all the other towns are focusing on it. And I know that at some point I think in March, a number of other town supervisors will be going to the county legislature to talk about what the county is going to do. The county conducted a study. In 2017, they conducted a study of EMS services in the county. And one of the things that George Kay mentioned to me when we transitioned was, he said, Chris, get your hands on that study. And I have been working at getting my hands on that study, and I'm happy to say I finally got it. It was written in 2017, and it took that long. I mean, you just couldn't get it out of the county. It had been shelved, and we'll send it to you, and it never came. Anyway, it doesn't actually say a whole lot, which makes it even more mystifying why it was sort of kept under wraps. But at least they did look at it, and they did talk about the potential for a county EMS authority, emergency medical services authority, with the ability to provide services in places that don't have it. The town of Stanford, which for a long time had their fire department was unable to provide the ambulance service, as has been the case in other towns. And so they had no service, and they went out and contracted with NDP for BLS, basic life service, ambulance service. We have advanced, a higher degree of equipment and training here. They were able to contract with NDP for basic ambulance services for $800 and some thousand. The way to do it, they actually created an ambulance district, like a fire district, that encompasses the whole town. Anyway, this is something that I'm going to be bringing back to the board. It's something that we have to wrestle with and deal with. It's coming down the pike at us, not next month, but it's this year. And I just wanted to get everybody's attention on this thing. Lastly, I heard from County Legislator Chris Drago. He had been hoping to be here tonight to report on what he's been doing. But he's got committee meetings in Poughkeepsie and he's unable to be here. He sent an email, which I shared with the rest of the board. I think that is all I've got in the way of my notes. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? Hearing none, I will keep moving along. Department and board committee reports. First, on our list is the highway department. Bob, you have a report for us and maybe something that share with us that needs our input?
Sure, start off with a couple of equipment issues. The 2006 International Plow Truck developed a pretty serious engine oil leak on Tuesday, so we had to have that towed to the repair shop. And the 2015 Ford F-350 one-ton dump had a transmission pan leak, which has now been repaired and returned to us. We're taking advantage of this nice weather and taking down some dead trees
Mm-hmm.
and doing some drainage work, and taking care of some things that we normally couldn't if we were dealing with snow and ice, so it's nice.
Yeah. How is our supply of sand and salt?
Well, it's doing very well this year, yeah.
Mhm.
Shed full,
Yeah,
saving a lot of money on salt and sand.
and do you have a 284 agreement?
I do.
Right. In fact, I know you do, because you've shared it, and I think it's been distributed to the board. Do you want to just take a second and just remind the board what the 284 agreement is?
Sure, so the official name is the Agreement for the Expenditure of Highway Monies. It's an agreement between the town board and the highway superintendent for the expenditure of highway monies. And it broke down to section 1, section 2. Section 1 is general repairs, section 2 is permanent improvements. Without this agreement, the highway superintendent should never spend any of these monies, or they could be personally responsible for those monies. So this is a very important document, especially to the highway superintendent. So I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking to have section 1 approved tonight for general repairs. Some of $240,000. And this is for coal patch, blacktop, gravel, stone, everything we use on all the roads townwide for general repairs. Oil for chip sealing,
Mhm.
equipment rental.
All right. This is an important document. We heard about it at the AOT meetings, the 284 agreement. And it is required each year that the town have an agreement with the highway superintendent. And we have passed it every year, and it is something that I think we should be happily engaging with to give you the ability to do the work that you've described to us and spend the money that you need to be spending. Yes,
Yeah,
Nick?
is that in our normal budget for this 2024, or is it added to it?
The highway
2,000.
monies are in the budget,
Okay.
That's the normal highway budget.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is just a requirement that we have this agreement, this 284 agreement.
Thank you.
If there's any further discussion of that, otherwise I would ask for a motion to approve the 284 agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Could I have we do no ayes and nays? No?
We need to do ayes and nays.
We need to do ayes and nays. Okay. Go ahead. We had a motion and a second.
Second.
Can we do a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay. Supervisor Kennen,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison,
Aye.
Councilman Fideli,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wakeler. Aye. Councilman Mayville.
Okay,
And this has to
That's
be
approved.
signed before you leave, 2
Okay.
pages, each page,
is this one?
and the second page. too.
All right. Hi, Warren.
Aye, sorry.
That's all right. Okay, we're just agreeing to the 284 agreement, so we. Just doing our regular work.
Chris?
Have you met? You haven't met Councilman Mayville? Did you meet last? No. Okay, no, all right, well, we're now at full strength
Oh, good.
and very happily to be fully with a full board. Warren, just let you know that I amended the agenda
Okay.
to provide for an amendment to the employee manual regarding vacation days. To provide for discussion of a resolution regarding work on the new town hall. And I've asked also for an opportunity for an executive session with you at the end of the meeting. With the assessor for one item and then continuing with you,
Okay.
okay? Bob, anything else from the highway department?
No, that's all I have, Chris.
All right, thank you very much. We have a report from our assessor.
So as I normally do in February, I will spiel that exemption deadline is coming up March 1st, as it does every year. We have sent out all new applications and they'll all be back on March 1st. We also had, as we did last year, for the first time last year, we had a new law where the legislature decided that we have to send a second notice to all residents informing them that the senior exemption exists. So it goes out to every single residential property regardless of age. And so we get 1,000 phone calls, but that's okay. This year we sent it out again, so kind of slower than last year, thankfully. But we have been picking up a lot of seniors that were in one program and stepping up to another program. So it definitely is a good thing. Just a little bit hectic now. But it also reminds everyone to get their things in by March 1st. So I appreciate that and get the word out that that deadline is coming.
Just to interrupt you for a second, do you feel that the word has gotten out for seniors about the exemption?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time it went out, it was what kind of in a rush and it was a new thing. What is it all about? So we had a lot more calls from everyone of every age. And then now we kind of narrowed it down to, okay, make sure you call only if you're 65 and older, and make sure only if you're really low income. So we're getting calls from $1 million property owners and things like that. So I think this year is much better in that, but yes.
Okay, I mean,
From the number of new applications we have this year, I would say the word is getting out. and
okay,
it's-
because if you
very
felt that we
positive.
needed to put it, on the website or in a supervisor email or anything like that, that
Oh,
could
in
be,
addition,
that
yeah,
could
well,
be
now
done.
I think we spent enough on this mailing. So,
okay,
but yes, yeah, no, by the number of calls and walk-ins we've had this week, it's definitely did its job. It's a good thing. And the other March 1st deadline thing that's coming up is what we call taxable status day. It's not only exemption deadline, but it is what we have, where we place all the data on every property in town into our records, and that's what we assess. So every new house that's built, everything is now input into our system, and that's what I will be basing my assessments on this year. So that's just kind of a deadline for people to know that their information is there if they want to come and review it.
so if there was a sale in January or February, it would be included, basically?
Yes, any new data that I picked up from that sale
Right.
would be into my record by March 1st.
Right, okay,
We can type in fast enough,
right,
and that's basically the deadline for people, not deadline for me to get it in, but then people can come in and take a look, everything's wrong, that's our opportunity to fix things. And then people know that's what I'll be basing my assessments on. And then as far as assessments, So the last few years, as you know, we've had some big changes, big swings in the market. And I've been working carefully and as judiciously as I can, not to overcorrect. This market was just flying. And so we did have huge, as we've talked about already, huge change in the last 3 years. Happy to report, still increasing, and we still see positive numbers in our trends, but not nearly as large numbers as we have. So I think we're kind of over the hump, coming down off the hump. We're not crashing down, but I'm looking forward to next year saying, don't quote me yet, but that is where I see it's headed by the numbers that are coming out now. So the initial reports from my analysis, which I do separately, and then the state does their own analysis. And they've just sent me all kinds of trends for commercial, residential, and vacant properties. We're currently looking at 5% in commercial, 2% in vacant, and for residential, we have a little bit difference in village and town. We have 6 in the village and 3 in town. Those numbers are way less than what the 12 and 8 that we had the last 2 years. So I'm happy with that. And those numbers also, they do individual in each category, and then they do an overall assessment of where our values are. And so they pegged us at 96.65% of market value. So clearly things have gone up because now our current assessments are not at 100%. So in order to get that 100% mark back, I will be having to change, increase assessments. And so I'm pretty sure that those numbers that I just quoted will be where I land, but I'm still doing some final analysis. And hopefully by next month I'll know for sure. And then by April, we'll be sending numbers out. So hopefully people won't be too upset because the numbers are better than they have been. And, you know, as it rolls back to numbers are numbers for assessments, but you know, what they're paying in their taxes, as we discussed, as everyone goes up equally, the tax bills still should be billed out equal, you know, equitably. And so everybody should be, as their assessment increases, tax rate should decrease and tax bills should stay the same. I think that's been proven over the last couple of years. And so that should continue this year. And hopefully, that's like I said, next year, don't quote me.
Okay.
We can stop with mailing. We would be very happy in our office to stop with all the mailings and changing every single file. So this is good news, but we'll see where the market takes us.
Great, thank you. Does
Thank you.
anyone have any questions for the assessor? No? Anyway, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And that's a good segue into tax collection.
Yeah, I gave you guys reports of like from today. We've collected 28%. There've been 388 people have mailed their stuff in, about 96 have come to the office. So it's we're doing well. I'm asking also, I've attached a letter to deputize Christopher Virtuoso as a deputy collector of taxes, and he did it, 2 years ago, just to cover for a week. Because this is what I was told I have to do that, it has to be approved by you guys. So there's also a resolution that I gave you that's confirming the appointment of a deputy town clerk. So if that's all right with you
Yeah.
guys?
So with that, could I?
I do have a
Yes.
question.
Mhm.
Would it make sense to have the period longer in case she was delayed at all? Like instead of just having it to the 11th?
That is longer.
Is
than
that
I think.
longer? Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
I think so, yeah.
Is there any compensation associated with this appointment?
Not at the moment.
He's our scan clerk too.
Yeah.
He's working here.
Yeah, he
That's
does- he
that.
does quite a bit of work.
And I think it's gonna be like an hour a day, like just pretty much, he's supposed to work about 2 hours a day. But he's flexible with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's happy to do this in spaces.
It's just that when you get the tax payments in, you have to have them deposited within 24 hours, and he knows how to do that. And then also it's the early week in March, there's still, it's after the it's after the big rush. February 29th is the last day to collect without penalties. But then there's some mail that comes in that's stamped, and you gotta be able to put that in. And he knows how to do it, so. I appreciate
Tilly,
it.
how does that 28% this year compare to
Oh,
last year?
thank you for asking. I mean, I have nothing to do with it, but last year was 21% this time, so. Me too.
So with that, I would like to ask for a motion to approve Tilly's resolution deputizing Christopher Virtuoso. as
Absolutely.
Deputy
So
tax
moved.
collector.
Second,
I'll do a roll call.
Sure.
I have to. Chris Cannon,
Aye.
Supervisor Cannon, sorry. Councilman Morrison,
aye.
Councilman Fideli,
Aye.
Councilman Winkler,
Aye.
Councilman Mayville.
Aye.
Thank
Okay.
you, thank you. And the next thing too, the planning, zoning and building department record reports you should have gotten. I know they came in scattered. If you're missing something, let me know. I have it. I have them.
Okay. I think that completes your town clerk report as well as the tax collector report.
Mhm.
The highway committee, we've talked about, what is going on up at the town, at the new garage. It's very, we don't ever talk about what's going on at the old garage, but, and soon we won't be talking about that at all. Building and Grounds Committee, we're gonna come to that when we have discussion of the new town hall. And Meg, do we have anything for housing?
Just, we continue to work with the ZRC, and just a couple weeks ago, I submitted to them, for references, average median income for Dutchess County, which is also called AMI, and giving, examples of household sizes, and if someone is at 60% of AMI and 80% of AMI. And from there, that will be some talking points. A few committee members have asked to meet with me on those things, and really just speaking about how does that relate to rents that might be considered affordable. It's a little premature in that once we have this in zoning, the town board, if it goes forward, we'll have to create a affordable housing plan. And from there, we'll probably have to hire someone to administer it. So such as like Hudson River Housing, who are experts in this. And they actually set rents for Dutchess County in general, that are considered affordable. So,
Right,
you know, some more of that to come for sure, but it's not down to the granular level of our town in Millerton. It really is done by HUD, the Housing Urban Development for the whole country, and then when we put in our zip code, Poughkeepsie is our representative in that for our whole area, because they get all the tax records basically. So some more to come on that, but it's important to at least put in, like what we're suggesting to the zoning review committee, to have affordable housing for anything built on the boulevard.
right. And just to make, I want to make sure that we're clear that that Hudson River Housing does not set rents. They give us information and different levels of AMI that different towns can choose to adopt
Correct.
for their guidelines, depending on the specifics of each town.
Yeah, I mean, for any, you know, which is, we've shared in the tri-town housing for years, it's a challenge for most households to keep a healthy budget should be within 30 to 35% of a household's income should be their housing and utilities. So that is a challenge for most
And we
people in the
know
whole
that there are
country.
a lot of households that are spending way more than that on their housing costs, which is, you know, it's a huge burden. Okay, thank you for that. I have distributed to the board a recommendation from the Personnel Committee for a revision to the town's employee handbook regarding vacation days. At the moment, it has after 9 years of service, 15 days of vacation time. It's not quite clear why it's after 9 instead of after 10. And what we're proposing to do is to change that to 10 and to, after 20 years of service, to provide employees with actually 20 days of vacation time. That's a very long time for anybody to be working for the town. It does not apply to, would not apply to very many people. But we think that that kind of diligent years of 20 years of service should be reflected. So with that, I would like to ask for a motion to approve this revision to the town's employee handbook.
So moved.
Second.
And with that, I would like to ask for a roll call vote.
Supervisor Karen,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison,
I'm gonna abstain since I currently have a relative that's employed by the town.
okay. Councilman Fideli,
Aye.
Councilman Winkler,
Aye.
Councilman Mayville.
Aye.
Okay. That is approved. The next item that I want to come to is our has to do with the new town hall. As everybody knows, we purchased the former property of Jehovah's Witnesses. This building is inadequate. It does not comply with the it is not handicap accessible, and therefore it is viewed as not acceptable as a town hall. We've managed to slide by for a while with it, but we're not going to be able to do that forever, and we're just outgrowing it. And we were able to purchase the former Jehovah's Witness building at a remarkably good price for the town. It has taken us some time to start to get ready for the work that's going to be done. We want to do it carefully, and we want to do it with an eye to our budget and to the costs that are going to be borne by the town for doing this. We have been fortunate that Jeannie Veneco has done a great deal of work. She's a registered architect. She has really designed the interior of the building. It had to be substantially renovated to accommodate the courts. So the main portion of the construction inside is actually because we're moving the meeting room and creating a new meeting room, which will also be the court complex. So as we move into this work, the first thing that we need to do after having a design of what the thing will look like is to have a better understanding of the electrical and the HVAC systems in the building. They're all original, and we need to know which of them are working well, which of them are at the end of an expected lifespan, and what will be the most affordable way to reconfigure the HVAC systems to reflect a different layout inside the building. So with that, we have, again, working with Jeannie Veneco, have found an engineering firm that specializes in this, LAN Engineering, LAN Engineering, and they have given us a proposal to do this work to basically to assess what is there and to be able to make recommendations to the town as to what is the best way for us to move forward with electrical and engineering work. I've gone through that proposal. I think it's a very, very thorough proposal. I think it's a very fair proposal for us. along with that, we also have a proposed contract with Jeannie Van Eco for her work, which I want to remind the board has been done all at no cost to the town. She has given her, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many hours of her time have been spent on this for free as a gift, pro bono to the town. And we are really, really grateful to her for that, but we need to have a contractual agreement that reflects her relationship to the town and to this work. So Warren, you've had a chance to, I know, to prepare a resolution authorizing me to sign this. Do you want to, any comments you want to make about the project, other than it's a great project?
It's a great project. And Jeannie has done a fabulous job, at no cost to the town. The preliminary plans are excellent. And, it's my understanding that she will continue to work on a pro bono basis, for doing the more detailed construction plans that we will need to put the project out to bid. The only thing we are going to be charged for are her what do they call it?
Geez, some of the drafts.
Yeah, the drafting service.
drafting.
$60 an hour, which is a cost.
Mhm.
So, and that will not be huge.
Right.
Amount of money. But we do have to enter into a contract with her, notwithstanding that fact. She has presented a contract which I have to amend slightly, add a couple of things that are required by municipal law. I've also reviewed the contract by LAN, and very good contract, except it does need to be amended in certain respects. There are certain changes I want to make to the contract. I don't think it'll be controversial. Added a rider to the contract to add some provisions that are required by general municipal law that were not in that contract. I put in a call to the LAN representative, you gave me the name, and put them on notice that we would be approving the contract signing tonight, subject to modification, which I will negotiate with our supervisor and with Gene and with LAN. If you trust us to do that, and we don't have to come back and approve the contract again once I've amended it. So I provided in the resolution that we can go ahead and sign the contract supervisor after I've amended it without coming back for further approval. That will be pretty minor changes to even the LAN contract. I indicated that we're going to be complying with the provisions of 222 of the New York State Town Law in terms of having to have detailed plans, construction plans before we put this out to bid for the new town hall, the renovation or reconstruction of the town hall. Most of the funds they're going to come from initially from the surplus funds of the town, 365,310, and 25,000 in current funds that we have. And we have been awarded a New York State Local Community Assistance Program grant in the amount of $200,000 for the project. But we have to expend that money first, so it has to be, and then it will be paid over to the town. So initially we'll have to take it out of our surplus funds and then reimburse the surplus funds when we receive the grant. The resolution I prepared indicates that it's a type 2 action. What we're taking tonight under seeker does not require environmental review, and it authorizes the town to move forward with the project by retaining the services of LAN to do the HVAC and the electrical analysis for us, and to have maintaining it, on a pro bono basis, providing necessary architectural and design, services in conjunction with that. And, if you want to read the.
I can
I'm gonna ask Tilly to read it, but before we do that, could I just ask you, any modifications that you might make to that, or would they be significant either in terms of scope or in terms of cost?
No, not at all.
Okay.
They wouldn't change.
I want that for the record.
They wouldn't change the scope, they wouldn't change the cost. It would be things like, requiring them to, comply with certain provisions of the labor law. To have insurance policies in place, so you have to specify
Right.
the amounts that we need, those types of things. And the prevailing wage requirements that are not in the contract. The one concern I had with their contract is that, and most professionals do this, they make them subject to mediation. If there's a dispute, I'm gonna take that out and, allow us to go to a court of competent jurisdiction if we have a dispute. I found that mediation, with professionals usually results in a preference, for the, professional rather than the homeowner or the municipality. And it can be quite time consuming and expensive, so we're gonna take things like that out. But no, the cost of the project will not change.
Okay.
And it's only 10,000.
Yeah, I mean, this is the timeframe for this is for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to, and there's no construction involved in this. This is
No.
simply assessing the building.
Yeah, but we need this as the first step, which will, in the process of creating more detailed construction plans, once we know the scope, and which are the main, construction items, the HVAC and the electrical work. And then we can put together a set of detailed plans, put it out to bid.
And this is giving us like, they'll be analyzing like 4 different options for us too, of
They will be.
replacement.
Yeah,
If we were to
they
do
will.
so,
Be giving us input on different paths forward
yeah.
and, anticipated cost trajectories of those. All right, Tilly.
Okay, this is a resolution authorizing the town to proceed with the remodeling of the property located at 5603 Route 22, Town of Northeast, currently owned by the town for the use as a new town hall. Whereas the Northeast Town Board determined that the existing town hall is obsolete in many respects, including the lack of handicap access to the second floor, and that it was necessary for the town to either construct a new town hall or acquire property within an existing structure which may be retrofitted for use as a town hall. And whereas the town board, pursuant to a resolution dated April 13th, 2023, authorized the purchase of property located at 5603 Route 22 in the town of Northeast, owned by the Rhinebeck Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, consisting of approximately 3.01 acres and an existing congregational building identified as tax map number 7170-00633229, subject property for use as the new town hall. And whereas the town closed title on said subject property on July 17th, 2023, and is now the owner of the same. And whereas Jeannie Van Echo, a licensed architect and resident of the town of Northeast, has donated certain architectural and design services to the town and prepared a set of preliminary plans with a detailed scope of work for the remodeling and reconstruction of the subject property for use as a town hall. And whereas the scope of work includes anticipated general demolition and reconstruction work, and a summary by discipline of the remodeling required for use as a town hall. And whereas the town, with the assistance of Jeannie Van Echo, has estimated that the total cost of such work will not exceed $390,310. And whereas the town board has determined that the cost of reconstruction work can be paid for by 2024 budgeted funds in the amount of $365,310 in surplus funds. In addition, the town has been awarded a New York State Local Community Assistance Program grant in the amount of $200,000, which will be used to reimburse the town after expenditure. And whereas the current town hall, after completion of construction of the new town hall, will be sold by the town and the net proceeds will be used to reimburse the town's surplus funds. And whereas the town board has determined that it requires detailed plans, specifications, and estimates, and estimates the construction work in accordance with the requirements of section 222 of the town law. And whereas a major component of such construction work will be HVAC and electrical upgrades to the building. And whereas, in order to create more detailed plans, specifications, and estimates for the construction of the building, the town board, on advice of its consulting architectural designer, has determined that a feasible study for the HVAC upgrades and electrical work needs to be performed by a qualified professional. And whereas the town board, following the protocols contained in the town's procurement policy, has received a proposal for engineering services from LAN, Land Associates, Engineering, Planning, Architecture, and Surveying LLP, which sets for a detailed proposal for performance of such feasibility study at the cost of $10,970. And whereas the attorney to the town has reviewed the said proposal and determined that with certain minor modifications to the same, the proposal from Land is acceptable in form and content. And whereas Jeannie Van Eco has provided a proposed agreement between owner and architect for continued architectural and design services to the town in conjunction with this project, which provides in relevant part that the said services will be provided pro bono at no cost to the town, except for drafting services, which will be provided at cost at the rate of $60 per hour. And whereas the services of Jeannie Van Eco will include the preparation of a set of construction drawings and specifications sufficient for the formal bidding process as required by General Municipal Law, Section 109 of the state of New York. And whereas the attorney to the town has reviewed the proposed contract with Jeannie Van Eco and has determined that the same is sufficient in form and content, subject to some minor modifications. And whereas the town board has determined that this is a type 2 action under seeker, which does not require environmental review. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby determines, pursuant to the provisions of sections 222 and 220 of the town law, to move forward with the reconstruction and renovation of the subject property for use as a town hall in accordance with preliminary plans already proposed by Jeannie Van Eco and more detailed construction drawings and specifications to be prepared by Jeannie Van Eco pursuant to her contract with the town. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby resolves to authorize the supervisor to execute the contract with Jeannie Van Eco and with Land Associates Engineering, Planning, Architecture, and Surveying LLP in the same or substantially similar form as may be amended on advice of the attorney to the town without the necessity for further approval by the town board. And be it further resolved that the town board further resolves to authorize the expenditure of necessary funds from the current budget and surplus funds, which will be reimbursed in part by the aforesaid $200,000 grant to pay for these services and for future engineering services and contractual construction work to be awarded pursuant to the formal bidding process of Section 109 of General Municipal Law.
Thank you very much. Any questions or any further comments from the board? If not, I would ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
You do a roll call on this.
Supervisor Cannon,
Aye.
Councilman Fideli,
Aye.
Councilman Mayville,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison,
Aye.
Councilwoman Winkler.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Warren, for your work on this, which was, I know, you didn't have a whole lot of time on this one.
In that regard, I found 3 typos, which I noted on here,
Oh.
so minor, so
Okay.
just corrected my sentence.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, this is a big moment. I mean, this is, in a way, while there's been a lot of work done on the new town hall, this is really the beginning of a formal process for the renovation of that and for its use as a town hall. With that, public comment period. Is there any public comment? Mr. Covert.
On the redoing of the new town hall. Has anybody contacted the Dutchess County Sheriff's Department or the jail about holding areas for the court?
Yes. And the Office of Court Administration has already given us a lot of input on what their requirements are for holding area.
Thank you.
With that. Supervisors report. Right, we're there, just checking. I have a budget adjustment number 12 for the year. A fund, an expense increase of $237, less an expense decrease of $237. Can I have a motion to approve the budget adjustment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I have a special abstract dated January 25, 2024, totaling $1,148.68, broken down as follows. A fund, $1,148.68. Could I have a motion to accept the special abstract?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Ralph,
Mhm.
I have an abstract dated December 31, 2023. Totaling $176,835.81, broken down as follows. A fund, $646.63. Capital projects H1, $176,189.18. Could I have a motion to accept the abstract?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I have an abstract dated February 8th, 2024, totaling $205,030.18, broken down as follows. A fund, $50,715.55. B fund, $113.50. DB fund, $51,640.26. Capital projects H1, $102,302.40. Payroll TNA, $258.47. Could I have a motion to accept the abstract, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did Bob's 284 agreement make it around the table?
Yes, 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 thank you.
I have. No, I didn't. Tilly did. Share with the board minutes from meetings of January 2nd, which was the reorganization meeting. And could I have, unless there are any changes to that, could I have a motion to accept the minutes of the reorg meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tilly has also sent us minutes of the regular meeting in January, January 11th. And I would like to ask, unless there are any changes to the minutes.
No change.
um, For a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Um, All in favor?
Aye.
I'm just thinking about the fact that since Chris was elected at the January 11th meeting, he should probably abstain from the January 2nd meeting minutes. So if you agreeable to that? All right, so would you just make that, we're just trying to be by the book here. Okay, all in favor of approval of the minutes of January 11th?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, because it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, that's
Voucher.
Where did I?
voucher.
Oh, I went right over it. There's always something. I'm so grateful to have a town hall staff and friends who keep me on track. The voucher committee for March would be Ralph Fidelli and Meg Winkler. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
No,
What?
no,
Oh.
You have to go into council.
Okay, yes, we are gonna go into an executive session, so we'll do that. And then adjourn after that. So, Tilly, I will keep a record. I would like to ask for a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Oh,
what? All in favor?
Aye.
okay.
Okay, and with that, we will excuse everybody else, and I would like to ask the assessor to stay.
Do you want more water?
Where did Edie leave?
In the corner.
I drink so much water.
I think the more. It's dry, right?
Really.
It's a regular.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain that to me someday. You know.